Hey, it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video, I'm going to do a review of the Miliko dot grid notebook. So if you follow me, you can probably already tell why I got this notebook. Love this cover. It's not boring black, it's something different, and it's got this like shimmery foil on it. See that? Loving it. I'm not really loving this stain on the cover though. So the notebook arrived in shrink wrap and this was like already on the cover. So I'm assuming this happened like in the factory, not in transit. I was able to rub some of the mark off, as you can see, after like half an hour, but I just can't get this rest of this like residue off. So if anyone has any tips on how to remove those kind of stains, please do let me know, because it is quite annoying. So apart from that, I do still love this cover. It also wraps the design around the spine and then around the back as well. So the paper in this notebook, unfortunately I find that the trade-off seems to be, if you want a pretty cover, the paper's not going to be that fantastic. So even though they say it's high quality paper, it's only 100 GSM, and predictably there is a bit of ghosting, which I'll show you shortly. So yeah, unfortunately, you want a nice cover, you're probably going to have bad paper. Yeah, slightly annoying, but anyway, there is no page numbers, which is also kind of a downfall. I do like that the dots have a bit of spacing though between the edge of the page. Sometimes some of the dots on some of these cheaper notebooks like will literally print it on the edge. You can't even use that dot anyway, so at least this one has a bit of a border around all sides for you. There is no pre-printed pages like a contents or a future log or anything like that. It's just these blank dot grid pages. And as you can see, they're kind of like they're not bright yellow, which I'll give it that, but they are still like a creamy tinge. They're not bright white paper. I do like the coordination in this notebook though. So we've got this like goldy orange ribbon bookmark, which coordinates with the little thing on the cover here, this design, and then also with this like inside cover. So like I do like the coordination. It is a nice notebook. It's just the paper that's letting it down. So let's have a look at that pen test. So if you follow me, you know all the pens that I use. I try and keep the same, try and use the same pens and keep it consistent between all of these reviews so you can really see which pens work the best. So usually the Inkjoy has the least amount of show through, and then obviously the thicker pens are prone to a bit of bleed through. So on the back side of this one, as we can see, the paper is not that great. Unfortunately, even the ballpoint ones have show through, and same with the friction as well, which are usually pretty good. So yeah, this paper, even though they say it's high quality, as per usual, I was skeptical when I brought it. Whenever they say it's high quality but they don't show like a pen test as proof, I'm always like, yeah, I bet it's not, and unfortunately it's not in this one either. So that kind of sucks, but at least it's a pretty notebook still. We do have a pocket folder at the back as well. So you're probably wondering, I've done so many reviews of dot grid notebooks by now, and I'm pretty confident on like what page thickness is gonna have no ghosting, so why do I continue to buy cheap notebooks that have like thin paper and I'm pretty sure are gonna ghost? The reason being is that I like to have some notebooks for drafting spreads. So this one I would draw up my spread here, and then I would experiment, you know, erase certain lines so that I've got the right width for certain elements. So I like draft it in this notebook, and then I'll go and actually do it in my good notebook, one of my thicker paper ones. So this is like my test run notebook, and also these are good for just jotting down like random master lists before you transfer it over into your like final bullet journal or your planner. Just like good for scratch paper, and I don't know, I just like using pretty notebooks. I just find that works better than notepads, because then you have loose leaf paper everywhere. And this one was only, I think it was $12 US, so it's pretty cheap for a notebook. So I don't really care if the paper's not that fantastic. The other thing that you can do is just write on this side of the page, for example, and then leave the back side of it blank. So don't write on this side, but then write again on this side. And I know you kind of only get like half the notebook that way, but I mean, if you're someone like me who just really cannot stand the boring black covers, then maybe that is worth it for you to buy a pretty one with a pretty cover like this. So I hope you found this review helpful. If you want to have a look at some of my other pen tests and some of my other dot grid notebook reviews, I'll include a link down below. I did a comparison of about 30 dot grid notebooks, so if you're having trouble deciding, or you're a bullet journal newbie, check that out. I'll also include a link to the bullet journal notebooks that I think have the best paper. So that will be linked down below as well if you are willing to splurge a bit for your notebook and pay extra for thicker paper. So don't forget to subscribe. I usually post a couple of planner or bullet journal notebook review videos each week.